Worst part of the game. We're playing God of War 3 on Chaos difficulty, and this is the Hermes encounter. But we've already been there, done that so many times that it hardly warrants me to say anything about it. So I do want to talk about the spawn. So when you come up here, the way you're supposed to cause him to spawn and come back, because in the below area, I trimmed it out so you didn't see him. But what happens is, what you want to do is approach the chain of balance, or the flame. Excuse me, it's called the flame, not the crank. I was wrong about that, but you just approach it, and in that little edit right there, we saw Athena. Well, I saw her, and you did too probably when you played. But just getting that cutscene won't secure you the cutscene with the piece of shit that we're chasing all over the fucking place. How do you get him to spawn? By interacting with, let me count them. It's either 3 or 4 of these, and you have to highlight the panel and then interact with a book. So it looks like 3. So I've never understood why they do that. It's just really curious the way they make you do that. Because when I first came here, I had no idea how to trigger that. But anyway, we're going to go over here and get some hidden orbs. You can come back here later in the game and also re-get them. Not the item box though. I think I don't know how I can't remember how that works. But I know these 3 I think the item box will be open if you open it. I don't think it will give you another item, but I could be wrong about that. So that's mainly what I wanted to talk about, and then I'll address the boss fight when we get there. But I've left these scenes in. I'm not really sure why. But in the last couple of videos, I've been talking about the different, my different types of enthusiasm. And, I said I'm excited for my future. I'm excited for my channel's future. I am. I'm more excited just to play this game. And the reason I'm playing this game is simply because I really like it, and I think it's an attempt that I can do realistically, like as a first attempt, so that I don't get not encouraged to do other ones. Even though I did take a stab at the no upgrade run component one with God of War Ascension. But when I say there are literally like no games coming out, there are some games coming out. And this video is just necessarily, the way it is. I can't help it. It's part of the game. But there are some games coming out, but only, I think 2 of them have actual release dates. So the titles that I'm going to mention, I have no idea when they're coming out, and nobody really does either. But when you're on this sequencer, make sure you just press the triangle button to propel yourself upward, and don't even bother killing the citizens, or you'll end up perishing in the flames. But the first game is from a developer called Ninja Theory. Now they're the ones that did Heavenly Sword, and they're the ones that did the new DMC. And I did a guide for Heavenly Sword on my other channel, which you may remember me saying on Hell mode, which is the unlockable mode in that game, and it was really difficult because the checkpoints were very sparing, and it was a convoluted combat system, like very convoluted. I'm not even going to get into why, but the most baffling thing about that game to me is that it's a game like this, but you can't jump. It's really weird. But anyway, Ninja Theory is working on a game called Hellblade, and it looks to be, I don't know, I haven't really seen much of it, but it's got a nice name, and it looks like it's got a female protagonist, sort of like Heavenly Sword. So there is that to look forward to, but when is it coming out? I have no clue. And then the next game, these are in no discernible order here, just random. The next game is a game called Evil Within, and I didn't know who was developing that game, so I had to look it up on the internet. It looks like it's being developed by Tango Gameworks. And we do have a release date for that. It's coming out October 14th, I believe, next month. So that game, I'm looking forward to that. It's a third-person perspective survival horror game with modern mechanics, and should be good. And then the next game is called Devil's Third by Valhalla Studios. Now, that's being directed by Itagaki-san, Tomonobu Itagaki. I should know the guy's name. I've done 4 guides for his fucking game. But I don't have a Wii U anymore. And that game looks pretty bland to me, but it's got all the right aspects of games that I like, so I can't say if I'll even get a Wii U for that. And secondly, what's the release date? Any man's guess. Probably not until next year. So the other game, the next game is, we've got a couple of games by Platinum Games, and I think if any developer is going to be our savior for actual quality games, it's going to be Platinum Games. And I'm leaving out Bayonetta 2, but just because I just don't care for it. But I watched a video today, and it is being developed by Platinum, so maybe they have just different studios around the globe. I'm not too sure, so I'm not sure how they work. But I know they make games, man. This is the way I can say it. But anyway, so we have Bayonetta 2. Yeah, I'm not interested in it. I wasn't too enthusiastic about Bayonetta when I played it, but it does have Bayonetta 1 on it in 60 frames a second, so 2 games for the price of 1 right there. So we've got that. I just wanted to mention it because it's a quality game that's coming out. It's just I'm not interested in it. And then the other games by Platinum include Scalebound, which is I believe a Xbox One exclusive. So if it's anything like Devil May Cry, I'll definitely have to get an Xbox One, because Platinum is also making a game called Quantum Break, which is exclusive to the Xbox One as well, if I'm not mistaken. And that is definitely, a third-person cover-based shooter that looks a lot better than what Ready at Dawn is making. The next game I wanted to mention, called The Order 1886. Now, I had no idea who Ready at Dawn was, but I did play their 2 PSP games when they launched in HD. And if you played Chains of Olympus, that was their first project, and it was a really rough game. It was a God of War game, and they're stellar titles. It's just that the QuickTime events were pretty rough, and they were right in the middle of the screen. Whereas, like in this game and in the next game that they made, Ghost of Sparta, they put the QuickTime buttons on one side of the screen that matched a logical area of where that button is on the PS3 controller. But I could see a lot of, and if you watch the IGN review too, even though IGN is some people hate it, some people like it. It's okay. I'm subscribed to them just because I'm interested in hearing about news. But if you watch that review, it was done by Greg Miller, and he even remarked about the evolution of God of War by Ready at Dawn. They had mechanics, and then they took them up a level, and it was such an evolution of the mechanics that what happened is that the second game that they made, Ghost of Sparta, was a lot easier because it worked a lot better and more fluid. And then Chains of Olympus was, the game that they started. That was their first project. So what else do we have? And then we have the heavy hitters. We have Arkham Knight, which is made by Rocksteady, and I recently picked up the 2 Batman games on the PC, and I just haven't played them. I just haven't got into playing them. I love those games immensely, but why even talk about releasing that game when it's so much in the future? Like June was just a month that we just incurred. Like, June just passed, and we have to wait until the next June for that game. I honestly thought Arkham Knight was coming out next month, and I was going to play it. You know, I thought I was going to be playing it next in October. But then I heard the other day, you know, June 2nd. Are you fucking kidding me? It's not that it's so far away. It's that why are you even talking about it when, you know, we can't even play it for 9 months. But anyway. And then the last one is Uncharted 4, which I personally don't think is going to come out until 2017. If it even does come out for the PS4. I think it'll be coming out for the PS5. Now, that is, I was kind of joking when I said that, but, and, you know, I am joking. It's just that I don't understand the whole Uncharted business. And, anyway, I'm talking over this boss fight, but basically, you just want to have the quick time events on for yourself and do the heavy hitter moves, cast magic, and then do this. Pretty simple boss fight, and then just use arrows if you're low on health, because he does take a massive damage off you. But I'll never understand why Uncharted 1 to 2 was 2 years, and then 2 to 3 was 2 years, and now we're looking at like 5 years from 3 to 4. It's unfathomable to me. It's actually pretty pathetic, and it makes me really mad. That the waiting game, all of these titles I mentioned, except for one, it's a long waiting game. We're talking years in some cases, and that's really pathetic in my opinion. It's just really pathetic. And then obviously we're going to have God of War 4. I would probably say next year. Mark my words. So that's about all I have. Just wanted to do an update and talk over this video so that I didn't disparage it, because it's really lame. And this guy he overacts. I think he's the actor from SOCOM 4 or something, voice actor. And I actually tried to play that game once, but it's really stiff and very. It's hard for the wrong reasons, and I wish I had a PlayStation or fucking PC release. Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. It's not hard to restrain your rage, man. So, did you see Kratos eyeing that guy's boots? We're gonna get those boots, and I will see you in the next video.